Castle in the Sky is a 1986 Japanese animated adventure film written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki and is also the first film produced and released by Studio Ghibli. The film was distributed by Toei Kabushiki Kaisha. Laputa, Castle in the Sky won the Animage Anime Grand Prix in 1986. Plot: in the film's backstory, human civilizations built flying cities, which were later destroyed by an unspecified catastrophe, forcing the survivors to live on the ground while the sole exception Laputa remains in the sky, concealed within a powerful thunderstorm. In the story's opening, an airship carrying a young girl, Shita, and her abductor, a secret agent working for the government named Muska, is attacked by the air pirate Dola and her sons in search of Shita's crystal amulet. In the resulting struggle, Shita falls from the airship, slowed by the amulet mid-fall. Floating safely down to a small mining town, she is discovered by a boy named Pizarro, who takes her into his home to recover. On waking, Shita is surprised to find that Pizarro is building a small aeroplane, with the intention of finding the lost city of Laputa, as his father had taken a photograph of it while flying. She tells him that her family lived in a small valley to the north named Gondam, and that she had lived alone once her grandmother had died, until being abducted by Muska and his agents. Later in the day they are pursued by Dola's pirates, and later by Muska's soldiers. Eventually, the two fall into an abandoned mine, where they encounter the local eccentric Uncle Poom, who informs them that Shita's amulet is one of the Volucite crystals formerly used to keep Laputa aloft. Upon leaving the mines, Shita reveals her full name of Lashita Tolao Laputa. Whereupon they are captured by Muska, and when Pizarro tries to defend Shita from the soldiers, he is knocked out in the process, and are taken to the fortress of Tidus. Pizarro is imprisoned in the fortress' dark, cold and damp tower while Shita is imprisoned in a more lavish room. Later, Muska shows Shita a dormant Laputan robot and reveals his knowledge of her secret name, which he interprets as that of a Laputan royal line. If Shita refuses to cooperate, Muska will have Pizarro killed by the military. In order to prevent this from happening, Shita orders Pizarro to leave for his own safety. Distraught, Pizarro returns to his own house, only to be dragged forcibly inside the house by Dola's sons and tied up. After being questioned harshly and rudely and deriding him as a scared little boy who runs away, Dola explains to Pizarro that Shita was forced to tell him this in an effort to protect him. She also explains that once Muska has what he wants from her, he will most likely kill her. Upon hearing that airship Goliath will be taking off with Shita to find Laputa, Dola and her sons prepare to intercept and capture the crystal. Pizarro asks Dola to join her pirates to save her. Dola initially refuses, but, after a moment of thought, reluctantly accepts and cuts Pizarro loose and immediately leave for the fortress of Tidus. Shita, retained by Muska, recites an aptropaque verse and unexpectedly activates the amulet and the robot, who proceeds to destroy the fortress, while Pizarro and Dola's pirates embark in winged flaptors to rescue Shita themselves. Meanwhile the robot seizes Shita, but when struck by Muska's artillery, retaliates against the fortress, until Shita orders it to desist, losing her amulet in the process. The robot is then overcome by Goliath, and Pizarro rescues Shita, while Muska obtains the amulet. The pirates, accompanied by Pizarro and Shita, return to their airship Tiger Moth, where Dola assigns Shita to the galleon Pizarro to assist her engineer, and in which they pursue the direction identified by Shita's amulet as that of Laputa, while Muska follows in the same direction in the Goliath. Both airships arrive at Laputa on the following day, where the two children, separated from Dola's pirates, discover a city devoid of human life, but possessed of a park-like woodland with a gigantic eternal tree of life, maintained by a robot resembling that of the fortress. Muska's soldiers plunder the city's treasures, holding Dola's pirates captive, with the intention of having them lynched. The ancient city is revealed to be twofold: a crumbling, overgrown yet beautiful ruin of a castle above, and a perfectly preserved scientific marvel below, utilizing the ultimate evolution of the crystal levitation technology displayed by Shita's amulet, as well as holography, magnetic cohesion, pseudo-nuclear weaponry and a veritable army of the semi-sentient robots. Upon gaining entrance to the city's central sphere, Muska captures Shita and his agents open fire upon Pazar, receiving a scratch to his left cheek. Whereupon Pazar frees Dola's pirates and pursues Muska. In the center of Laputa, containing the immense Volucite crystal keeping the city aloft, Muska identifies himself as Ramuska Palawal Laputa, another royal line, and uses Shita's key crystal to access the advanced Laputan technology. He then destroys the soldiers and the Goliath outside. Whereupon Shita seizes her crystal amulet and flees, prompting him to pursue her. Encountering Pazar through a gap in a wall, Shita gives him her amulet, and is herself later cornered by Muska in Laputa's abandoned throne room. Arguing with Muska, Shita realizes and explains that the people of Laputa left the castle because it had no life. Muska refuses to believe her and shoots off her 2 pigtails, threatening to shoot her ears as well unless the crystal amulet is given to him. Pazar then enters and says he'll give the crystal amulet to Muska if Pazar can talk to Shita. Muska grants the two 1 minute to negotiate. Shita and Pazar then recite a spell of destruction, blinding and killing Muska and destroying much of the city. Having survived the collapse, Pazar and Shita reunite with Dola and her pirates, and later part from them to fly to Gondar as Pazar had promised, whereupon the ending credits show the remains of Laputa still aloft, with the Guardian robot still tending the garden, maintained by the Volucite crystal embedded in the roots of the central tree, in high orbit above the Earth. Cast, soundtrack, all compositions by Joe Hisaishi. The Girl Who Fell from the Sky Euro 227, Morning in Slag Ravine Euro 304, A Fun Brawler Euro 427, Memories of Gondar Euro 246, Discouraged Pazar Euro 146, Robot Soldier Euro 234, Carrying You Euro 202, Shita's Decision Euro 205, On the Tiger Moth Euro 232, An Omen to Ruin Euro 218, The Sea of Cloud Under the Moonlight Euro 233, Laputa, Castle in the Sky Euro 436, The Collapse of Laputa Euro 200, Carrying You Euro 407. Influences. The name Laputa is derived from Jonathan Swift's novel Gulliver's Travels, wherein Swift's Laputa is also a flying island controlled by its citizens. Anthony Leo feels the Miyazaki's Laputa, Castle in the Sky is similar to Swift's Laputa, where the technological superiority of the castle in the sky is used for political ends. Laputa is credited by Colonel Muska with having informed biblical and Hindu legends thus tying the world of Laputa to our Earth as do the medieval castle architecture on the ground. The Gothic and half-timbered buildings in the village near the fort. The Welsh mining town architecture, clothing, and ground vehicles of Pazar's homeland. And the Victorian ambience of the pirate ship. The anime also makes references to the Hindu epic Ramayana, including Indra's arrow, while the name Shita may be a reference to Sita, the female lead in the Ramayana. Some of the architecture seen in the film was inspired by a Welsh mining town. Miyazaki first visited Wales in 1984 and witnessed the miners' strike firsthand. He returned to the country in 1986 to prepare for Laputa, which he said reflected his Welsh experience. I was in Wales just after the miners' strike. I really admired the way the miners' unions fought to the very end for their jobs and communities, and I wanted to reflect the strength of those communities in my film. Miyazaki told The Guardian, I admired those men, I admired the way they battled to save their way of life, just as the coal miners in Japan did. Many people of my generation see the miners as a symbol. A dying breed of fighting men. Now they are gone. Distribution and reception. The film was a popular hit in Japan when released in 1986 like all Ghibli movies. In the late 1980s, an English version of Laputa was briefly shown in the US by Streamline Pictures. This dub, produced for showing on international flights to Japan, was not produced by Streamline. According to Fred Patton of the company, Streamline Pictures theatrically distributed an English-dubbed print of Laputa from March 24, 1989 for the next year. But Streamline never dubbed it. Streamline licensed Laputa from Tokuma Shoten in late 1988 or early 1989, and was sent a print from Japan that had already been dubbed into English for use as an in-flight film by Japan Airlines on its trans-Pacific flights. We have no idea who actually dubbed it. Reportedly, Carl Macek was disappointed with this early dub, which is available only on the Japanese DVD release. Following this, Tokuma Shoten allowed Streamline to dub their future acquisitions such as My Neighbor Totoro and Kiki's Delivery Service. The Disney-produced English dub was recorded in 1998 and planned for release on video in 1999, but Disney eventually decided to release it to theaters instead. After Princess Mononoke did not fare as well in the US as Japan, Laputa's release date was pushed back yet again. On occasion the completed dub was screened at select children's festivals. The film was finally released on DVD and video in the US on August 16, 2005 alongside Kiki's Delivery Service in Spirited Away. As with Mononoke and Kiki, critical opinion was mixed about the new dub, but Cloris Leachman and Mark Hamill's performances as Dola and Muska drew praise. Laputa was the second best-selling DVD from Studio Ghibli distributed by Disney in the year of its release. Laputa was reissued on American Home Video in March 2010 as a tribute accompanying the home video release of Ponyo. The film was released on Blu-ray in North America on May 22, 2012, alongside Whisper of the Heart and A Secret World of Arrietty. The film currently holds a 94% fresh rating at Rotten Tomatoes. In an audience poll of 100 best animations of all time, conducted by Japan's Agency for Cultural Affairs in 2007, Castle in the Sky was the second highest-ranked animated film, and third highest-ranked animation overall on the list. The film received a re-screening on May 22, 2011 in Aberystwyth as part of a charity fund for Japan. The print shown was the original theatrical Japanese print with English subtitles. Most tweeted moment in the history of Twitter was during the airing of Castle in the Sky on August 2, 2013 when fans tweeted the word "Bals" at the exact time that it played in the movie. There was a global peak of 143,199 tweets in 1 second. Awards: OEFUJI Nobera Award. Mainichi Film Award, 1st place. Pier 10, 1st place. Japanese movies. City Road, 1st place. Japanese movies. Eiga Jutsu, 1st place. Japanese Films Best 10. Osaka Film Festival, 8th place. Japanese Films. Kinema Junpu Best 10 2nd place. Reader's Choice. Kinema Junpu Best 10, Best Anime. 9th Anime Grand Prix, Special Recommendation. The Central Committee for Children's Welfare, Special Award. Revival of Japanese Movies, Best Design Award. Anime, title: Although meaningless in Japanese, the name Laputa comes from Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels. English-language dubs of Laputa have been released under 3 different titles by 3 separate distributors, which is largely due to the similarity to the Spanish slang Laputa, which would be offensive to many. In 2003, the film's title was shortened from Laputa, Castle in the Sky to Castle in the Sky in several countries, including the United States, Mexico, and Spain. In Spain the castle was named Laputa. This change was carried to a number of non-Spanish-speaking countries, including Britain and France, under Disney's Buena Vista Home Entertainment label. Although Laputa was removed from the title, it appeared on the rear cover of the DVD, and was used throughout the film, without modification. The film's full name was later restored in Britain, in February 2006, when Optimum Asia a division of London-based Optimum Releasing acquired the UK distribution rights to the Studio Ghibli collection. Additionally, during the late 1980s and early 1990s, the original English dub was screened in the UK, as an art house film, under the alternative title Laputa, The Flying Island. It was shown at least twice on British television, but some scenes were cut. Differences between versions: although the plot and much of the script was left intact, Disney's English dub of Laputa, Castle in the Sky contains some changes. These differences do not appear in the original dub. A significant quantity of background chatter and one-liners were added, filling in moments of silence and increasing the frenetic effect of certain scenes. Composer Joe Hisaishi was commissioned to rework and extend his original synthesizer-composed 39-minute soundtrack into a 90-minute piece for symphony orchestra in an effort to make the film more accessible to U.S. audiences who are accustomed to a more substantial musical accompaniment. Newer sound effects were included as well, presumably to bring the film up to theatrical standards. Pazza and Cheetah, as portrayed by James Van Der Beek and Anna Paquin, are made to sound several years older, placing them in their mid-teens, rather than their pre-teens. Several modifications were made to dialogue spoken to about Cheetah by members of the Dola Gang, including a declaration of love by one of the pirates. In the original Japanese version, the dialogue presented Cheetah as a potential mother figure to the pirates, instead of a potential romantic interest. References to Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island were removed, as was the reference to Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels. Although all these alterations were approved by Studio Ghibli and Miyazaki, there have been a number of critics who called them into question. On the other hand, Miyazaki himself is said to have approved of Hisaishi's reworking. His compliments were echoed by several reviewers. The 2010 DVD re-release omits most of these changes. The new score has been removed, having been replaced by Hisaishi's original synthesizer score. The sound effects are reverted to the original Japanese production, and a lot of the added dialogue has been eliminated, making the dub closer to the original Japanese. Additionally, the subtitles on the newer release are mostly due titles. See also, Winged Araya, Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, Atlantis, The Lost Empire, references. External links, official website, Tenkū no Shiro Rapyuta at the Big Cartoon Database, Laputa, Castle in the Sky at the Internet Movie Database, Castle in the Sky at AllMovie, Castle in the Sky at Anime News Network's Encyclopedia, AC a registered trademark I of Florin W. Florina Florin Gamma at the Japanese Movie Database, detailed Laputa information on nautisr.net.